10. You can adjust the seat height, you can adjust the handlebars a little bit.
Oh, that's right, I didn't bring a helmet.
You don't really actually read his heart rate. Let's go ahead and show a heart rate monitor on here. When we come back after the midterm next week, we'll start doing blood pressure, and then pretty soon we'll start measuring oxygen uptakes, and you'll all get to do a test similar to this.
Thursday?
We'll all put a heart rate monitor on y'all and see what your aerobic fitness is.
Mostly, yeah. So it'd be about patient size, foot and ankle.
Okay.
Mostly the
All right.
ankle.
So just
A
know.
little cold.
Are you guys gonna ask like certain locations of like HDL and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
muscles, tendon,
Okay. All right. So just know
that
that.
kind of stuff. Yeah, you know, anterior talofibular ligament. What does it do? Prevents anterior translation of the talus and the mortise joint.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Come on up a little bit closer. Kind of get a little circle going here as much as possible. I'd like to be able to see the.
Everybody's staring at you.
What did that go on?
It's not the first.
Lock in. Like staring at it. You can do it.
Yeah, we won't actually do a fall off the bike max test. But we're going to take him maybe like 85 or 90% of his maximum. What we do is VO2 max test. He's going to bring his shoes, his pedals. We'll clip him right in there.
Said I'm going to do it.
How old are you?
21.
You can go ahead and start pedaling her a little bit. Oh.
How's she feel?
Hang on just a sec, Trace.
Pretty good.
How tall are you? Inches or centimeters? You what you're in centimeters?
Is it 162?
I don't know.
Yeah, 162.
Sounds about right.
What do you weigh in kilos?
63.
63 kilograms?
How much is that worth on the street?
Don't answer that.
At 24.5 a key?
Yeah. It's a trick, undercover. I'm wired.
All right, remember we calibrate things, we can actually calibrate the bike. I'm not going to give you all the details because it would just take too long. We're just going to calibrate the bike. You hold it at different positions here. You hold it at 0 kilograms till it beeps. You hold it at 2 kilograms till it beeps.
Oh.
4. And then you hold it at 6 till it beeps twice.
Sounds like my car alarm.
Yeah. All right, so we are set there. We're going to put this on manual. We're going to put on watts.
What on that? That's my hood.
All right, go ahead and start pedaling for me.
Let me hit go, bro.
You can pretty much pedal at the speed that's comfortable. What this bike does is it adjusts the resistance so we get a known power level. So we're going to start you at 50 watts here in just a second. If this pops up here,
You don't let your knees collapse. Use your glutes. Use them glutes.
I'm going to try to do some things right during the test. If we can't do that, I'll just have to explain to you what's going on and we won't be able to. But if the computer comes up here and we can, I'll just have somebody just sit there and type in the numbers as we go.
No, I can do that.
I'll be like, alright, I'm done.
Yeah.
Right, done.
Oh, you got all kinds of watches. You want yours?
All right, you like to pedal fast, which is absolutely fine. That's good. You're pedaling about 90 RPM right now.
Okay.
It's an easy cadence.
What's that?
It's an easy cadence. Just cruising.
In chapter 21 describes how your ventilation responds to exercise. Here's mostly what we're looking at. When we get to this in lecture, which is we're about probably 2 weeks away if you're in my lecture class, most variables increase linearly as exercise intensity increases. Heart rate, oxygen uptake. Ventilation responds linearly up to a point, and then all of a sudden you'll see this kind of non-linear increase or a ventilatory threshold. That ventilatory threshold corresponds to a change in your metabolism where you transition from aerobic to anaerobic metabolism. As you transition to anaerobic metabolism, you start to use your lactic acid system. You start to make lactic acid. You start to get acidic, and the way you help buffer that acidity is to hyperventilate, to blow off a little extra carbon dioxide and water. Okay? So what we should see is just a really nice linear increase in ventilation until we get to that ventilatory threshold, which may be kind of high in your case. Have you been doing cycling lately, or not for a while? You haven't been doing a whole lot of cardio?
I've been on the stationary for some time.
All right. We need to collect all of his exhaled air, so this kind of weird contraption here goes on your head.
Go ahead.
This is actually a welder's headgear that's been kind of adapted to be used for collecting gas here. That should be tight, but not super tight. This is just like a scuba. Oh, you know what? That's on backwards.
Just turn it upside down. It's fine.
Actually, I want it coming out the other side, so we're going to flip it over here real quick. This is a saliva trap.
Gross.
Which kind of describes what it's going to do.
So, what's it do?
You gotta drink whatever's in there.
Bottoms up, baby.
Oh my God, that's so
That
gross.
was actually right the first time. I just had the blue thing on the wrong side.
It's just a shot.
Now, we're going to try to do this without running out of time, but if we do run out of time, then you can leave when class is over, but we'll try to have this done by then. All right. So everything he inhales comes in this one side. It has two little valves, almost like the valves in your heart that promote the flow of air only in one direction. So everything that exhales comes out that right side and will go into the tank and into our metabolic heart. Right now, this is like a scuba mouthpiece. That whole thing has to go inside your lips. So go ahead and grab it with your right hand there, whichever. Kind of fold it, put it inside your mouth. And then it has to go inside your
The whole thing,
inside
bro.
your lip. You still
Hey,
not
pretend like it's a cheeseburger, bro, and just put your mouth around it.
inside your lips, but then outside your teeth, so you can kind of bite down on it.
Yeah, like
Now
that.
hold it right there for just a second. These screw into the side of his head. Keep that in good position there.
Hey, you look awesome, bro.
You let it go.
Hey, don't say nothing.
Got all this equipment. Half the time we forget to put the nose clip on. All the air comes out of his nose, so we're putting on that.
Comfortable?
Got to pinch his nose right there. So everything he's exhaling now,
It's dripping down there.
everything he exhales comes out the side.
You can measure it. You're collecting the saliva too.
Like clean that off
It's the lucky one. They deceive it.
Just don't tilt your head back. It's like the tank. Don't inhale.
It was already halfway filled before it got.
Yeah. All right, keep pedaling.
Hey, don't go nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like, can I take the nose clip off if I'm not hooked up?
Yeah, they're not hooked up yet.
Don't say anything. Good. Yeah, basically he's collecting it. Everybody save up your saliva for the next 15 minutes.
Stop talking about that.
How you feeling?
I'm not doing it.
Saliva collector. Filters.
That fall off, or you take it off?
He took it off.
Rub your nose really good with that. Good.
can't hear you. He's about to get real serious, look. He's ready. Is that another collection tube over there near the monitor?
The second one.
Condensed air.
You don't like the feel of it, or what?
Does it hurt?
I've never had anybody refuse to wear a nose clip before in 1,000 tests. All right, well, we'll try to do it, but no. Yeah, let me make sure you're able to breathe. Breathe in once. That could be part of the problem too. I think it's right, but let me double check.
It's like, see, the problem is I can't breathe out of my mouth.
I'm cycling.
What are you feeling, bud?
Can't breathe.
Ah.
No, even if I try, I couldn't breathe. That's why.
I got to tell you a story here once we get this going. I was testing the quarterback at Ohio State, Mike Tomczak.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Played quarterback for the Bears for a
Remember
while
him.
and stuff. We were like 1 minute in the test. The guy started to complain. I thought, what a wuss. And I looked, and the thing was set up backwards, so he was trying to breathe through the machine, so that could be the problem right here. Yeah, that's working.
It's just you, bro. Your lungs are on backwards.
All right, now, if you're not comfortable in here with it, this may not work, Dave. We'll have to have you practice once before we do the O2 max test. All right, now that's working. So that should be okay. Now, it does restrict a little bit your volume, but this has a rating of like 300 liters per minute, and you'll never blow more than like 100 liters per minute a day, so we shouldn't be a problem. But if you can't get comfortable, we'll be over it. We'll try one more time.
So it's racing.
Breathe now, no problem.
I'm tall. 120.
Still be able to breathe. Feel good.
You look good, too. It's important.
Don't put this on the internet unless it turns out well.
Oh, it's going on the internet. It's going to the homies and lots.
Education.
That's what we do in kinesiology.
That's what all that money's paying for. It's sponsored too. Super good.
Yep.
Tight.
All right, what we'll do, we'll go for about 10 minutes here so we can stop on time, so I just want to kind of point out a few things. All right, so make sure, again, you can see the front of the machine here. You okay? Now, you can't talk to me, so this means you're okay, this means you're not so good. So.
I have my CPR mask, bro, so don't fall off.
Right now, he's just pedaling at 50 watts. Should be fairly easy, should be sub-maximal. His heart rate right now is about 130. Which is a little higher than we'd expect. He must be a little anxious about what's going on. So
It's probably the thing in his mouth. The headgear. That might be it.
Probably couldn't even do that. I'd be like, just do that.
you can just try to relax as much as you can. Just try to forget about what's going on.
Yeah, they could have. I get like a bench on my phone back. Yeah, I did.
increase your power level just a little bit. You just keep pedaling the same speed. It's going to make it a little bit harder on you.
A little bit.
Sorry. Sorry. I'm doing a very bad job there.
My bad.
Straight incline.
I know.
He didn't see that hill coming,
I thought I
huh?
put in 75 watts, I put in 440 watts.
Hey, but he took it like a champ.
You like clinched out.
All right, now, we're not probably going to be able to demonstrate everything I wanted to today because of kind of somewhat of a missed start there. His respiratory exchange ratio is already just a little bit high. We would expect it to be considerably lower than that, but if you are nervous and different things, you hyperventilate when you're nervous, so it's a little bit higher we would expect. Right here is his ventilation. Right now he's at 40 liters per minute. I won't try to graph anything today, but let's just kind of watch, and then when we're all done, maybe when we come back after the exam, I'll just show you his results just to look at it. But so here's his ventilation. Right now he's blowing about 40 liters per minute. Here's his oxygen uptake. He's consuming 1.59 liters of oxygen. He's producing 1.6 liters of carbon dioxide. That changed a little bit. Here's his respiratory exchange ratio. CO2 divided by oxygen uptake. If that's below 1, he's burning some fat. In fact, right here are the numbers. Right now he's getting about 80% of his energy, 79 from carbohydrates. He's getting about 21% of his energy from fats. Right now, he's working at a VO2 of 24 milliliters per kilogram per minute. That's probably like about 50% of his VO2 max, because we'd expect his VO2 max probably be somewhere up around 50, something like that, okay? So right now, he should be at a sub-maximal level, right at 75 watts. Here's his breathing rate. Right now, he's breathing about 27 times per minute, and here's his tidal volume. Per breath, he's blowing 1.65 liters 27 times per minute, okay? So we started him at 50 watts, he's now at 75 watts. I'm just going to go up every 2 minutes here by 25 watts for about the next 6 to 8 minutes, and then we'll stop, okay? So when this gets to 4 minutes, I'll bump you up to 100 watts, and hopefully I'll do it correctly this time. There's 85, 95, 100 watts. All right, can somebody do me a favor? Can somebody just write down something really briefly? Does somebody have a piece of paper handy? Can you just take a quick note or two for me? Anybody? All right. Can you just put minute 2, 50 watts, minute 4, 75 watts,
Minute 2 what?
minute 6, 100 watts? And at minute 6, 100 watts, can you put his heart rate, actually let me give it to you in about another 30 seconds. For minute 4, why don't you put 125? So minute 4, put a heart rate of 125.
Can we get his heart rate?
All right, still feel good? All right. Now we also, there's a tiny little glitch in the software here. It has him going minus % fat. Yeah, he obviously can't go minus. So right now, from on, his respiratory exchange ratio is 1 or above, which means he's using all carbohydrate. He's now making enough lactic acid that he's become acidic and he can no longer use his fat, so he's going to use carbohydrate here for the rest of the time that he's riding, okay? All right, we're going to bump you up here in about 30 seconds, another 25 watts. So at minute 6, where it says 100 watts, put down his heart rate as 141. And then 8 minutes is going to be a, actually let's go 7 minutes. At 7 minutes we'll go to 125 watts. All right, so here we come up on 6 minutes. His ventilation is still pretty low. What we'll see is his ventilation will be low, and then all of a sudden it'll rapidly increase, and I'll explain why again here in just one more second. So this number here, just a second display of his ventilation. This is his oxygen uptake. Average college-aged men have a VO2 max of about 45, so we would expect a VO2 max of 45 or so. So again, he's probably at about 25, or about 50% of his VO2 max. All right, we're going to bump you up again. There's 110, 120, 125 watts. Frequency Frequently, we also have a perceived exertion chart that you rank anywhere from 6 to 20 that kind of tells us how hard you're working. We don't have that today, but that's another thing that you frequently record during an exercise test is that rate of perceived exertion. Are you getting him a napkin? Or is that for you?
When you use your RPE scale, do you just kind of have them throw up fingers, or?
We actually hold it right up and then just point to it. All right, at 8 minutes, we're going to go to 150 watts. His heart rate is now in the 150, so we'll go for about another 2 or 4 minutes here. Jose, see which one. You know I'm going to call it one. Right?
That's all good. We're going to call him one, too.
Please don't. I don't do it intentionally. His RER is sticking right at 1, so he was a little hyperventilating beforehand. This is an indicator of his fuel, but also it's an indicator of his intensity. Right now, 1 means you're working at, again, about maybe 60–70% of your VO2 max. If that gets up to 1.2, that's kind of your maximum value. So the day we do a VO2 max test, we're actually going to try to just encourage the person to keep going until that gets up at least to 1.1 or maybe even a little bit higher, okay? All right, his heart rate there at 8 minutes was 155, and now we're going to 150 watts. So it'd be like he's lighting a 150 watt bulb. That's how much force he's generating. That's how much power he's creating. Is about 150 watts right now. The word was Lance Armstrong can crank 500 watts for an hour.
Yeah, you can come over and power my TV.
Most people can't hit about 350 watts max. He's supposed to, at his prime, was able to crank 500 watts. Right now, we're going at 150 watts, and he does some cycling. His heart rate's 157.
Check out his saliva collection tube.
RER is going up just a little bit.
I see
This is basically looking at his intensity.
bit.
As that approaches about 1.1, the 1.15 means he's working at near his maximal intensity. 1.2 if they're really highly motivated. He's using carbohydrate now the rest of the time. Toward the end, he'll also start using a little bit more of that stored creatine phosphate as we get closer to the maximum intensity here. Okay. Again, our goal is really not to do a max test today, but if you can give me another couple minutes, that'd be really good. His ventilation's still pretty low. His ventilation's only about 50 liters per minute.
I'd be done. 20.
At 10 minutes, we're going to go to a power level of 175 watts, and his heart rate at 10 minutes is about 163. All right, so now I'm going to bump you up to 175 watts. We'll try to make you a little more comfortable when we do the VO2 max. I'm going to try to get a couple people to do it. You can either do it on the bike or the treadmill. If you're a runner, we'll put you on a treadmill. All right, there's 175 watts. We also usually have a little thing that holds the hose. Right now, the hose is just kind of hanging there and it gets a little uncomfortable. But. All right, here's his ventilation. His ventilation's 50 liters per minute. He's blowing 32 times a minute at about 2 liters per breath. If we were doing this on the computer there, it would kind of be showing us what we would expect to see. But he's blowing a little faster than we would expect. He's taking kind of shorter little breaths. Maybe take just slightly deeper breaths. Can you give me one more minute? Okay. Ventilation, or oxygen uptake's up to 35. Average college age woman has a VO2 max about 35, so he's already pretty much at that level. We would expect this again to be probably 45-ish range if we're in average aerobic fitness, so we're probably still quite a ways from his VO2 max. His RER is creeping up though. Oops, there, it went back down again. Good. He's relaxing again.
He knows he has a minute left. Yeah, he's chilling.
He's got a minute left. All right, at minute 11, his heart rate is 170, and I'm going to bump him up to 200 watts.
Hey, ride it out, bro. 45 seconds.
200 watts. Bring it on.
Feel a little bit.
All right, now make sure all your air is going in and out of that mouthpiece. Don't be breathing around the mouthpiece.
So what happens when the saliva collection tube gets full?
You drain it.
It's nice.
It usually just starts overflowing and starts.
Just tilt the This is good,
Hey,
man.
can you
For
actually get him
science.
a napkin? Can you get a piece of paper towel like that?
Yeah, he's dripping. He's dripping.
All right, you're working kind of hard. You're working pretty hard. His heart rate's about 176. We've been going about 12 minutes. There's his VO2's up to 40. I'm trying to get him up to maybe like about 45. So if you want to keep going, we have 1 more minute until we run out of time. There's your napkin if you look at it. Give me one more stage here. Here's 225 watts for 1 minute, and then we'll stop. That's a lot of power. When you get on the bike, if you can crank 225 watts, that's a really heavy power level. You'll all get a chance to try this. You won't have this whole headgear on. We'll just set these bikes up, and you'll have a heart rate monitor on. We'll estimate your VO2 max from your heart rate response. All right, give me 30 more seconds. There, hit 45, so he's got a VO2 max of at least 45, if higher. RER still a little low. We would expect that to be, again, about 1.15 or 1.2. We're trying to really get his ventilation, this peak here, before I let him go. His ventilation right now is 69. Let's see if he can really start to hyperventilate. Now, he has to use his lactic acid system eventually because the aerobic system just can't produce enough energy, so he starts to use his lactic acid system. He releases all these hydrogen ions that buffer by combining with bicarbonate ions to make a lot of carbonic acid that he takes to his lungs, and he hyperventilates because he can split that into CO2 and water. So right now, we would expect him to start hyperventilating as he's producing this lactic acid at this higher intensity. And I'm going to give you the option here to do this for another 1 minute, or we'll stop. Want to stop? Want to go for another 40 seconds? All right.
Push it.
We'll just get a heart rate when we're all in. His heart rate's 188, so he's cranking. There's his VO2's up to 50, so we're getting fairly close to his VO2 max. Really, we'll hope to get his ventilation up to about 100, so if I graph it, you can see this ventilatory threshold when we... Oh, there we go. Good. 30 seconds. We are actually really close to his maximum level here. This is a really good training thing here. Next time he does this for real, he'll know what it feels like. We'll do a little better job of adjusting the power levels. If you can give me 30 seconds, I've said that 10 times now.
Hey, 30 more seconds, bro.
Get your ventilation over 100. Come on, get up there. This goes every 30 seconds. 20 seconds. Excellent, excellent, excellent. 15 seconds.
Longest 30 seconds ever.
Slowly bringing down your power here. Good job.
Hey, you just tilt your head back, bro. It goes right down the track.
Make it much easier. Don't fall off the bike because you start pedaling too fast here. Slow down. Excellent job. You're done. We're just going to cool you down now for a little while. Good job.
Came in first, homie.
You did. You won.
New PR.
Way back.
Hey, don't tilt your head back.
This is a solid shot.
All right. I didn't quite demonstrate exactly what I want to do because I should have been putting on the computer there. So I'll show it to you when we come back after the exam. Next week we'll take a really quick look at his results. Just let you cool down. I'll take that thing out of your mouth. It's pretty juicy here, so you may want to turn your head. We are done. You can take off and go into the
Oh wait, splash zone.
Some of our most squeamish
Yeah,
individuals.
you're sitting in the splash zone right there. You want to be careful.
Oh, yeah. Made it.
Big trash can. Can you bring that big trash
Ew,
can?
I don't know.
Hey, you should have saw what was hanging out of his mouth. Sexy.
Big old piece of baba. Oh, good.
Like that, felt good, huh?
It did feel good, dude.
So what was the deal there at the beginning? What you just didn't feel like you
I didn't feel like I could breathe out fully.
Because once you kind of get used to it, it seemed like it was fine. Then,
Yeah.
Actually, you got your VO2 up to 53, so you have a VO2 max of at least 53 or above, so you're above average there at least. Appreciate that.
Do you want me to do this demo for the next class?
What's that?
You want me to do this demo for the next class?
Hey, he's hooked.
Yeah, you already have me here, might as well.
Well, now that you're kind of over-warmed up there, wouldn't you respond exactly the same way?
Dang aerobic athletes.
That's what I've been missing, dude.
Just out of time, or what?
Yeah, it's not a time. I mean, I don't have a bike.
He needs a
right?
bike too.
Yeah.
My bike's too big for him. Imagine that.
You don't have a bike?
No, I want a last year bike, but I'll sell it. So, saving up for one. So, eventually next year I'll take this class again. For sure.